Hey everybody, this is Dark Guardsman, and we're back with another progress update on how ICBM Classic is working. So yesterday during the stream that we kind of did at 1 in the morning, which actually would mean it was this morning rather than yesterday, but details. We got the explosive blocks working. And this is a huge step because this basically shows that a lot of the explosive code still works properly, and that takes a huge massive amount of worry out of the work that was related. So we're going to go through and we're going to show off that a lot of these actually are functional. Now, there's still a lot of work still left to do, so we're not quite at the release stage, but we're at a point where I can say a lot of this stuff is at least logically there, if not the renders are all the way there. As you could tell, like with a few of these, we don't have the renders still set up for the cubes. This is something that'll eventually happen. Shrapnel doesn't have renders. It's going to take a bit of time to get this done. Basically, yesterday on the stream, it took about 2 hours to get all the textures done for just the blocks. A pretty lengthy process. Effectively, you have to individually declare what textures you're going to use via JSON, which, man, is a lengthy process. So we're not going to go through and probably test all of these. So some of these, like for example, the defibrillation chemical one, they do work, but there's literally no graphics to them, so it's really hard to tell what they're doing. Eventually we'll get to the point where the graphics do function for this. But things like the anvil ones, they do at least function, although the anvil render is not there. I have to actually physically redo the code from scratch because the code did not translate whatsoever. Repulsive and interactive do work. Fragmentation does work, although the velocity is a bit high. I think this is something that's always been a bit high. I was hoping that fire would set that off. Disappear too quickly. So we'll see that, and it'll just shoot fragments everywhere. So I think it's actually the intended behavior of that one. It's just I'm not used to it at all using that one. Certain ones like the sonic ones do also work, although I think I'm going to come through and tweak how many blocks this thing destroys because it feels a little underpowered for what it is. Although none of the audio is working, if you guys can't tell. Like, very few audio bits work, and usually the audio that does work is vanilla audio. This is something that I'm definitely going to have to work on over the next couple days in order to get running. It'll probably be actually later on the list. Breaching charge definitely works as well, although it works in terms that it works the same way it did in the 1.7 code. As in it functions, but it definitely needs more tweaking. Specifically, the fact that it digs in one side further than the other. That's just how the code's designed, and we'll eventually get around to it. Regen does work, although as somebody pointed out on the stream yesterday, it seems to bug out chunks, so this will be definitely something that's going to need some more work before it gets used. I'll enable the recipe for this after I actually get a chance to work on it more. And let's see, thermobolic does not work at the moment, and neither does the nuke. They both use the same code. That's the reason why neither of them work. I think it's literally the same reason the antimatter wasn't working earlier. And you can see what I was talking about. Kind of bugged out. I'm gonna repeat that after I said that. So yeah, the reason why I said that this is actually bugged out is that when you place some Blake Brocks in that chunk, sometimes it doesn't work properly. I think it's just a tick boolean that the chunk is not resetting. Exothermic and endothermic sort of work. Both of them are kind of doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah, you can see where I was talking about where that it bugs out. I think it's a desync issue. This is also a really cool thing with this video, if you're watching this, is that you can kind of see how these explosives actually function on a fundamental level when the renders are not enabled. So they actually pick up blocks, and the blocks actually do have physical renders. Yeah, really bugged out on this chunk. So that's definitely something I'm going to have to spend a while to work on, because Regen Missile is a pretty nice missile. But both of these are at least picking blocks up, and they are at least functioning until, well, you crash. I guess I can use this opportunity to point out just how much involvement there is when it comes to the JSON. So we go to the block state JSON, and I did get some help with this. So the coded one helped us out during the stream and showed me that I was doing this wrong originally. But literally, here is what it takes to do all of the different blocks for the explosive. And I have to go redo this through for the missiles, the grenades, and pretty much I think the bomb cards too. The bomb cards I don't think is as much work involved in the process, but it's still pretty tedious. Some of that stuff will be left for last though. But yeah, you get all that for explosive blocks. But anyways, I'll be back here later with more stuff to show off. and hopefully fix whatever crashed the game in the first place.